Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Tara Time. This is a new live weekly show that I'm doing, and I'm going to be bringing you guests every single week. We're probably going to be digging into some Q&A too. And this really is for me to dig deeper and get juicy into everything leadership, everything business, and very self-indulgently everything Tara. So today I have an amazing guest coming to join me, and somebody who is extremely responsible for my business growth, my business success, and supporting me in the journey since day dot of my business. So her name is Danielle Hobson, and she is my coach. And like I wrote in the post today, she took my coaching virginity. So I'm going to add her in now. Hello, Danielle. Introduce yourself.
I will take responsibility for you. I'll absolutely take your coaching virginity any day. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you. You do not only are you obviously trailblazing on in your own right and on your own, but like you are somebody that also inspires me. Never mind to be inspired, by me as your coach. So no, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today, but also to be your coach in general.
So introduce yourself, tell people a little bit about what you do so everyone knows who you are.
Okay, so I'm Danielle Hobson. A little tip for that, actually, like I say this in any new area when I introduce myself like that, when you say, and I don't know if I've ever told you this actually, when you say your first name twice, it's more rememberable. So this is a little tip for all of you that do make presentations, deliver presentations, or introduce do any sort of presentation online or offline. It's really, really good for people to remember your name. If you say your first name twice, Danielle Hobson, like Bond, James Bond, but with the first
Love
name.
It. You want the 007 of the coaching world?
Obviously. Also made in the 80s. There we go. So I am an intuitive business coach, and I like to describe myself as a little bit of a 50-50 kind of woman, person, entity on this world. I'm very much 50% grounded, feet on the ground, strategic, structured. I understand, the logistics of things and business mainly. And also I am 50% one leg flying in the air, up there with the clouds, the fairies, the angels, God, the universe, divine force, whatever you want to call it, because I absolutely believe that you need both. And we're going to talk a little bit about that side of things and how Tara's obviously changed over the last year and a bit that we've been, a year and a half actually, that we've been working together now. And how her mind has expanded to this floating in the air kind of life that we've got.
Knocking lampshades over.
Is that yours? Is that your lamp to break?
It's not my lamp to break. This needs to go on a bloopers reel, and I can't get it to stand back up. Tom, can you help me?
Please, Tom. And you did that at 333. Something spooky in that. Check what 333 means.
So I nearly sent Tom away actually today, because I was like, I'm not going to need his help. We're set up right. Like usually helps me set up all the logistics and the tech and everything like that. And I was like, oh, he doesn't need to today. And then something in my mind was like, no, don't say that. Just let him stay, because he's meant to be going to walk our friends. I was like, let him stay. That's why.
So if you've been in Tara's space for a while, you'll know that Tom absolutely keeps her alive. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Excellent start. Sorry. 1 foot in the air.
This is great. One foot. So so Tara's obviously journeyed into the up there. So I do believe that you have to have both. I don't believe that that it's possible for you to sit in a corner humming, with your things like this and your legs crossed and everything fall into your lap, because I believe you need strategic, which is your word for this month, actually, strategic implementation. But I also don't believe that you can just have strategy and structure and hustle yourself into the ground and expect you to get results as well, because that leads to burnout. And without us in our business, we obviously can't proceed and get the results that we want to get sustainably long term into the future. So that's me. I help my clients in different ways, and we do a lot with energetics, mindset work, and the strategies of business. And I help you pretty much create balance between your own intuition, so listen to the inner and what you actually want, need, and desire, and also teaming that up with the perfect aligned strategy for you. So that is me in a nutshell.
And I actually think you in a nutshell was the beginning of that introduction, because you said, like, you led immediately with something that could help other people straight away, like a piece of value, a nugget of gold, or something immediately before you even introduce yourself. This is, oh, by the way, everybody, like, if you introduce yourself twice, like that couldn't describe how you work any better. I don't think. Like, that was just a perfect example, and one of the reasons that it was super easy for me to work with you in the first instance and make the decision to start coaching, because before we were working together, I knew very little about coaching. Mentorship, yes, and that's something I've done for a lot of my career, but business coaching, no. And even at the time when we first started working together, it was like the business was never going to be my full-time thing. It was just something for a bit of fun on the side, just to keep me entertained, because, I like to spin a lot of plates. So that very rapidly shifted. And I think part of that is being shown what's possible.
I remember having that actual conversation with. Oh, have you got me? Am I back?
Oh, it's me. It's my headphones playing up. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, all of the things today, I can hear you now, but not in my headphones.
Okay. Yeah, I remember having that conversation with you, and I could see it in you from day one. Like, you were wasted in employment. Simple. Like, it was just like you needed to be freer than that. Yeah. Like, obviously, anybody that knows Tara, and for anybody that doesn't know Tara, like, she is absolutely a free spirit, like, full on. I mean, she left home, the UK, like a long time ago. Like, she's flying like a bird all over the world, and definitely leaving her stamp in the places that she goes. But you are, I remember, like, the moment that we had that conversation, and I remember thinking, yeah, you're not going to be an employment man. Or, like, I can see you leaving your job, Tara, and you were like, nope, I love my job. And you did love your job, didn't you? Like, there was nothing. Yeah, you thought you did. And you were really good at it. And I think that was one thing that probably was the reason why you thought that was the right place for you to be there. And then, like, when we love something, when we're good at something, it's like, well, why would I go anywhere else? And actually then being exposed, like you say, being exposed to other opportunities, other options. And another thing that you are with that is you're always open. Like, you'll try anything, which leads us on to, we were going to talk about the spiritual side of things, and leading your life a little bit more free flowing rather than structured and spreadsheeted and project managed, so to speak.
Yeah. And from day one, you've always been really clear what kind of a coach you are, what where your interests lie, but for me, when I first started working with you, it was like, that's great for you, but it's just not for me. But irrespective of that, I can see that you also have the thing that I do want, or that I do need right now. But I'm always in a position to say, like, whatever it is you want, surely you'll try anything in the world to get it. And if that means trying different strategies, great. If that means trying different methods, if that means trying different alternative ways of doing things, whatever realm that sits in, and whatever level of discomfort that sits in for you, surely you'd give it a go. And that's where I was, I think, sitting on that side of, let's say, spirituality or energetics or anything like that. But that's great for you, but it's not for me right now. Oh, but now I'm moving somewhere, and maybe why would I not look into other ways that might help me?
Absolutely. And I think, you know what, even if the way that I look at energetics work and mindset work and spirituality, even, I do believe that there's a strategy to that. And actually, I was being interviewed on a podcast this just earlier on this week, and we had this very similar discussion about, like, the energetic work, the inner work, and the spirituality of life being a strategy. Like, we have to choose to do it, we have to choose a way to do it that works for us. And this is what you found. Like, you have found your way of into spirituality that works for you, that you can get your head around, that actually it aligns with you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are into spirituality like I'm into spirituality or the next person is. It's just that you found it in your, and that, to be honest, in a nutshell, that is what spirituality is.
Yeah.
It is about you finding your own flow, you going you into yourself and going, what do I desire? What do I want? How do I want to live? And what feels good for me when it comes to creating that strategy to work for me. And when we say strategy, like I say, I'm not just talking about the strategic ways of employment or business or work or whatever. It's about a strategy of living, so to speak, a strategy of living that works for us. And that's what I believe.
But I actually think also, for me, it became more important and more required as I was a business owner. And because of it was a huge level of change for me, and different ways doing new things that I was already uncomfortable with. So it's almost like a way to support that. But now looking back, I'm like, actually, had I have tapped into some of that whilst I was still in employment as well, like, think of what impact or what change that could have created as well. Yeah. And, you know, I'm still definitely very much on that exploration, finding out what it is journey. Anyway, I'm still very much at the beginning of that, I think. But one thing that, like I say, I'm always open, and I hope that I know I only ever work with people that are open as well, because I like, not only work, like friends, family, because like all of those people in my life that are actively in my life are open-minded, non-judgmental people.
Yes.
Like, and I can't entertain any other types of people.
No. And do you know what? I'm the same. And those that aren't, we've got a lot of similarities to, you know, the way that we are, the way that we live, like even our, you know, our family dynamics and stuff like that. Like, we've got a lot there. And the people that are not in our lives, you know, they're not in our lives for a reason. That's family, friends, work colleagues, you know, whatever, ex-clients, whatnot, you know, like, they're not in our life now for a reason. And that's because we evolve. And one thing that we both are, you know, very, like we say, very, very good at is that we are just very open and non-judgmental of what other people want to do. And that's fine, even though it's a difference of opinion. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong either way, you know. And also open to trying, like, going back to what you said before about if I want something, or if you want something, you're willing to find a way to get it, try new strategies, try new things. And I am exactly the same as that. Like, if you and we spoke about this briefly the other day, I don't know if we were in your coaching in call, but we're definitely, with entrepreneurship especially, I see it more, because obviously I'm a business coach, so obviously I'm in that more, but you may see it in both your, you know, in business, with your business clients and your employed clients, your career clients. But entrepreneurs especially are problem solvers, and literally we live our life with where there's a will. Like, where there's a will, there is a way. And if that means that we're trying new things and we're having a look at something that we've never looked at before, or going, you know, through a door we've never walked through before, whatever, that, like, that's an everyday thing for us, really, isn't it? Like, we do that on a day-to-day basis. New things, new strategies, new people, new opportunities. Like, oh, that's new, but however, it looks like I might get to where I need to get to, want to get to, desire to get to by walking through this door. So let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. And I see it with, because generally I work with people who are either in leadership positions, so they're either managing a team, which comes with all of that anyway, or they're desiring to be there, so they're having to take the steps. You're right, it goes into there as well, of, am I going to take the difficult step? Can I take the difficult step? What do I need? How do I need to be supported to take that difficult step?
Yes.
And you know, you touched on something about people as well, like when we have differences of opinions, and we're going to come up when we're doing something that's meaningful. I think if we're doing something that's meaningful, that's complex, that's going to have an impact on the world, and again, that is in entrepreneurship or whether whatever you do in your day job is meaningful and having an impact on the world, it's likely to be complex, and it's likely to come up against different opinions, high stake conversations, high emotions, all of that, and to have difficult conversations. And if you can go into those things with what we said of an open mind and being non-judgmental, you're going to go so much further, and it's going to be so much easier to do that. I literally had a client call yesterday where we were going through how to deal with the different conversations, and it was actually a personal difficult conversation, but her view was, actually, I haven't come up against a work difficult conversation, but I'm avoiding this in my personal life, and I can't afford to do that at work, so let's get this one over and done with. Let's practice here with this one that's happening personally, and so then I'm going to be ready to do it. And that is what we spoke about. Like, how can you just be open to listen? How can you be non-judgmental about where they're at, but still share what it is that's important to you?
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. And so I think in general, it's leadership in it. Like, it's if you're in leadership, and obviously business owners are normally in leadership. But obviously, like you say, the majority of your career clients are in leadership roles within. So it's about, and we're all leaders, in the business space especially, but like it is about finding that path, that road, that door, that way to get around it, and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, isn't it? We all do that. It's like, yes, these are difficult. Yes, there's the fear that comes up around this, the uncomfortableness that comes up around this, whatever it is that we need to do. And, like we come across the hurdles, or we get to the hurdles and we're like, right, there's lots of people that will turn around because that's too scary. That's too big. Don't like the look of that. That's too uncomfortable, and turn around and they walk away. But those of us that are leading in this world come across these hurdles and they're like, right, okay, there's got to be a way around this. Like, because I know that, and especially if we know that it's been done before, like we want to lead our tribe, our team, our people, our audiences, our, people that are in our world. We want to lead them over this, get them, and so we need to show them. Or even if it's a wall that nobody's ever come across before, like there's got to be a way. Like, we have that ability to think like that. Yes, it's the scariest shit. However, I need to get to the inside of it. So then, like you say, we'll find the support. We might not be able to get on our own, but we'll understand that we need the people. We'll bring people in to help us, support us, whether that be a coach, a mentor, team, systems, whatever it is, whatever the hurdle is, whatever you need to get over it. And then you get to the other side of it, and you're leading the way. So absolutely, it's about us feeling the fear and doing it anyway, finding the solutions to the hurdles, to get around we come up against. And you are a pure example of that. Like, you're like, right, okay, there's got to be a way around this. So,
and I think also one of the phrases that I love is, unless you're leading behind your own front door, you've got absolutely no business leading anybody else. So make sure you're doing it in your personal life for yourself, and for, like you say, before you even think about taking your leadership to lead a business, to lead in a career, to lead a team, make sure that you are doing it yourself, and you are actually embodying everything that you want others to do for a start, or that you're teaching or preaching or whatever. Make sure you're fucking leading by example. And I see it all the time. And the minute I spot it ever happening in myself, like, it's about that self-aware to pull yourself up and go, no, I need to be making sure that I'm leading the way here, like in integrity and by example.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I was laughing while you were saying that, because like one of the biggest nicknames that I have had growing up is, like, I say nicknames, it's not, it's like, it's a sentence to describe me. I rule the roost. So I've always, like, whatever household I live in, like, I am leading of some kind. Like, I'll take care of that. I think it does naturally come from a caring nature, doesn't it? When you want to help other people, when you want to guide other people and support other people, I think that's true leadership in itself. Like, you want to make sure that everybody else is happy, everybody else is, is good and getting what they want and what they need. And for a long time, and this may go into a different topic, but like, for a long time, that felt to me like a bad thing. Like, I was like, you know, when we joke about being a control freak and like,
Yeah.
you know, like needing to control everything. And I think that was a belief that was given to me, especially. And I know that there'll be people watching and listening to this that feel the same. Like, a true born leader will have absolutely been tarred with the control freak, whether it be from themselves or from other people, and like the need to control everybody. And I think that there's a fine line between a controlling nature and a leadership nature. And I think that can blur very by other people's opinions, outside, you know, views, your own self-limiting beliefs, etc. So it's taken me a long time to get my head around the fact that actually it's not a bad thing to want to lead and to always get my own way in a way. Do you know what I mean? Always try and find the answers to everything.
Yeah. And I think there's also a line between, well, it's really interesting when you talk about that from like a coaching perspective of wanting to lead and take everybody with you and have everybody, like, you know, part of me wants everybody to have, the reason I started this, I want everybody to be able to see that they can have what they want and they can go and get it. And it's not like the driver is people saying to me, I wish I could do what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could move abroad. I wish I could, God, I wish I had the confidence to stand on a building site and shout at men. I wish I could do this. I wish I could. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't. And I don't want to hear that phrase anymore. But it becomes a very fine line between like dragging people who literally do need dragging and babysitting and that level of codependence almost, because you've said, all right, I want to get this person. So it's become your mission to help them to do that, but they're not really pulling the weight or they're heavily leaning on you to get that support. And that is something that I am absolutely not here for at all.
No.
And I had a call with a potential client yesterday. I did a free strategy session with them and somebody looking to start a business, and you know, they were really open and honest about the level of accountability that they need, the level of like kicking up the arse that they need. And I was equally honest to say, if you want a babysitter, I am not the coach for you.
Yeah.
There is people who will handhold you, and that's fine, and that is what they do. That is not what I do, and that is not what you'll get from me. You will get a kick up the arse. You will feel insanely supported. But if your level of support is for me to do the work for you, that's not your way, you know, that's not me.
True, absolutely. And that comes into the category of like, not everybody can be led.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is ready for it. Like, and whether they will be eventually or not, I don't know. But not everybody can be led. Like, some people do just naturally want to be dragged through, dragged through life, and they're happy to just, you know, and that, you know what? Again, each to their own. There's no judgment on that neither. If that's the life that you want to live, and like, you know, like you've just said, there's people out there that will quite happily. The way that I like to describe it is wipe your ass, you know, like if that's what you need, if you need baby and if you need babysitting, if you need your ass wiped, then absolutely there's people out there that will do that, and they'll take payment for it also, you know. There's an audience for everybody. There's a coach, mentor, guide for everybody, you know, but like, it's sometimes just find it. But leadership is very different to that. And it's about creating individuals, and this is where alignment for me heavily lays in my work, because you know, just because, and I think it's when I got my head around this, I changed the way that I coached and mentored, because I started my coaching business pretty much like a teacher stroke trainer. So I was training all of the things that I knew about business, let's say, and mindset, and even energetic still back then, because I was still into that, you know, back then. But then like now, the way that like I've evolved my own work is very different. It's not about like I've got strategies as long as my arm, a list of strategies as long as my arm that people can use. Some of them I use myself, some of them as I've used in the past, some of them I don't use, but I know about. And these are things that like I will absolutely give you. This is the book of.
Yeah, it's a toolkit. Here you go.
Absolutely. Some I use, some I don't. Some of my other clients use, some of my friends use, whatever. And some work. Well, they all work it for different people. But it's about, I will help you develop our own strategy from different bits and bobs of that. Pick a strategy that works for you and build a business that is aligned with you and what you need. So that my leadership is changed with that. So it's not only about teaching and training now. It's about the guidance to get you to lead you to the right business for you, to live the right life for you. And I think that's very different to the training and teaching side of things.
Yeah. And that has just brought up something for me that I think would be really valuable for us to discuss as well. It was a conversation again that I had last night with a client who wants to start a coaching business, right? Somebody who wants to start a coaching business, and they wanted my input or recommendation on a course that they were looking for. And there's a couple of sides to things here, and I know that you'll have a valuable opinion on this. But the first was, one, shall I get a coaching qualification? The second was, which one shall I get? The third was, shall I get this one? And my answer was, like, what do you like about that one? Like, if it feels good, go get that one. My second one was, though, do ask if it's accredited by a coaching body, because the way the industry's going, that could safeguard you for the future. Absolutely. And the third one is, go in with expectations that you already actually probably know what you do. Like, based on the discussion we had, you probably already know what you're doing, and this is just going to refine your skill set. Like, don't go in thinking it's going to change the world, because it probably won't. What do you think?
So, yes. So I've got quite a controversial opinion on whether you need to be certified, accredited in coaching. And my opinion, and this is going out into the internet. Oh my God, people are going to call me for this. Like, I actually don't believe, to make an impact, right? So let's just take the word coach, mentor out of the equation, because it's not the title makes no fucking difference, right? The title is not relevant here. It's the impact that you make as a person to the other people, to the people that you're leading and mentoring or helping, let's say. And I heavily believe that can't be delivered in a course with a fucking certificate.
It's not academic.
No, that comes from experience, and it comes from life experience. It comes from experience in the field that you're wanting to go in and help with. It comes from your own attitude to personal development, life, business, whatever it is that you're going into, or the actual situation, and your passion for all of those areas, and your need, want, and desire to help other people. I think you can make so because the thing is, and the way that I look at the reason I say this like this is because there is so many coaches, mentors, whatever out there that have gone online, done a certification, or even the ones that have paid fortunes for, let's use the word proper certifications, accredited, whatever, and got to the end of it. They've done a 8-month course, 2-year course, whatever. They've done a degree even in it. Yeah. And they get to the end of it, they've got the certificate, they've got the shiny certificate. It's in a frame and it's in their office, pride of place. And then they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing, because they've not had that experience. They've just gone into it for whatever reason. And I have had so many conversations with different people to and from this. This is just my opinion on this. Like, please don't hate upon me for this. Like, I will strategically and in a reasonable manner discuss this with anybody that wants to discuss it with me, of course. However, this is just my opinion. I am accredited. I am certified, and I am also in the process of doing a degree in coaching and mentoring. And for that reason that you said at the end there, to safeguard me for the future. That is it. Just to make sure that I have got everything that I need if ever this industry goes regulated, because it's not regulated, and that's the only reason why, right? That is the only reason why. And I'll tell you something now, what I'm doing in this course, this degree that I'm doing, is everything I've already been doing. It's like I've been doing it for years, nearly a decade now. I've been coaching women in over 2 businesses, for nearly a decade. And I think that some of it before was like not accredited, not certified, and some of it obviously years after have been. But doing this is like, if I hadn't have done the experience of 10 years previous, I don't know if I'd have been ready at the end of this course that I'm doing.
Yeah. And I completely agree with that. And I think that's what I was trying to say. Expect it to refine your skill. Like expect it to refine. So for me, I think anybody can, and everybody is probably a mentor already. Like think about if you're in a company or wherever, or in a business, a mentor is a mentor. It's somebody who shares experience and strategies and all of that, and advice actually as well. Anybody can mentor. The piece about coaching, I think if you're going to go on a coaching course, it's there to refine your skill of what I would call active inquiry, because that is a skill, but it is also not a skill that is academically, it is academically taught, but it needs to be practically practiced to be good at. And like I said to you, for me, the best thing about my coaching qualification was actually was essentially the message of the tutor on there. And he was like, I'm going to do 20 minutes where I'm going to give you theory of stuff and ideas, and then the rest of it will be spent either you watching me coach and us doing, and then you critiquing, us critiquing, or you coming up in front of everybody, coaching somebody else on a real life problem, and me critiquing you, and fuck would he go hell for leather critiquing you as well. That was so valuable. So if you're going to embark on a coaching course, make sure that it has that in it. Ask that question. Like, is there going to be practical co-coaching opportunities? Is there a community where I can do that coaching with other people, where I can actually practice it before I go out into the real world? And you know what? If that opportunity isn't there, just like pick and find anybody. That was my advice to this guy last night as well. I was like, just go find anybody you possibly can to coach, because here's the other thing as well, right? You can go, and what I'm not a fan of is coaching courses that provide distinct methodologies, because like you coach that you're accredited to coach this way. So session 1 will be this, session 2 will be this, session. I'm like, bleh. No,
that's again coaching, because coaching is client led.
It's absolutely client led, and it's like, and actually, but there can be frameworks, but they have to be like your frameworks. I think if you're a coach, like create, and that's another part that was really useful. Like they coached me to create my own methodology. Like how do I do it? And by that, it's like, what works for me in terms of timescales of coaching somebody? What works for me in terms of like what process we go through? Like, are we identifying issues? Are we putting, like what's the process and what's my process? And like mapping that out. And I was like, to find that out, just go and do it with somebody, and then write down what you did and how it worked. Like, do it your own way.
Even when I first did my original coaching qualifications that accredited me and certified me back in 2019, I then still, once I opened my business, because like I said, I weren't ready. Like the academic side of it, don't get me wrong, the courses were brilliant. They were brilliant. And we did have practical elements to it, but it's not enough. Like I have got better over time. Like I am nowhere near and the amazing coach that I can be, like, so if you think I'm good now, just come to me in 10 years as well. Like, like I'm evolving over time, and a coach and a mentor and anybody that, again, in leadership is constantly personally developing, is constantly getting better, evolving, educating themselves, practicing their skills, their craft. We're always trying to perfect our craft. And the first 6 months, probably more, the first 6 months of my business, I love doing this, of my business, I delivered coaching for free. Like I didn't charge anybody. I didn't make a penny in the first 6 months of my business. I delivered free stuff. I delivered trainings for free. I did coaching calls for free, mentoring calls for free. I did everything for free. So that was me practicing, even after going through like nearly a year of my course that I did before, like before opening my business. So I don't think there is, again, there's thousands and thousands of courses out there. Like like Tara said, like whatever feels right for you, whatever you're drawn to, but definitely make sure that if you haven't got a practical element to it, or you can't find a course, or can't afford a course, or whatever the ability, whatever the hurdle is that's stopping you from having a practical side of it, create a practical side.
Yeah.
Create the free coaching, like go and find people to mentor, go and find people to coach, to get your practice up, to not replicate, to support the theory that you are that you are learning and that you are developing. And if I go back to the course that I did before and how I actually coach and mentor now, it's nothing like it. Like the theory that was in
also, if you want to be paid the fucking big bucks, right? People don't want to pay what they can find in a course or they can find in a textbook. The reason people pay millions of pounds to have an hour with Tony Robbins is because of the way he does it. The reason people pay hundreds of thousands of pounds to be coached by Melanie Ann Layer is because of the way she has developed her. Only she owns that, and she fully embodies it. And that's the thing. That's it. Is you take the learning, right? We can learn something. We take it. We master it. We learn all the things around it, and then we go, right, and this is how I do it. And that is what people want to pay you for. That is what people want to pay you the big bucks for, because only you have that.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a big part of, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs because I don't really entertain myself with that side of things, but like, that's probably one of the massive reasons why it's not regulated, the industry, because there's not one framework, one body, one thing that every coach and mentor has to have. Like, it's, unless you can regulate the way that people personally develop and unless you can regulate that, so that's probably the one thing that every coach and mentor has to have in common, and that has to be a good one anyway, the ability to constantly evolve, constantly evaluate themselves, constantly make things better for the way that they deliver their service and the way that they help people. And so unless you can embody that in one regulated body,
someone's gonna have a hard time with it, I think.
Yeah. That's why I think it's not now. I mean, that's again just my opinion. I haven't done. There's not a lot of research to back that up. So don't come at me. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But yeah, definitely. I'm not saying anybody can just wake up one day and start charging people 10 grand to work with them for 6 months. Like, I'm going to be a coach today. Like this
about honing your craft, let's say, like with anything, like with any career. Like, it was similar in project management, right? You didn't have to be qualified to be a project manager. Like, you saw engineers moving up through a rank to be from an engineer to be a project manager because of the experience they'd had working on, learning, doing that kind of thing. So it happens across lots of other spaces and industries and situations, and it's the same. But I think it's just so important to develop that methodology that is your own.
Yes.
And that's what people buy into. And I mean, well, there's one thing to develop it. The other thing is to live it yourself as well, and make sure that other people can see that is what you stand for and how you operate and what you are made of. Is that the right word? Like, that's the stuff you're made of.
Yeah, you're modeling it on a day-to-day basis. Whatever you're coaching, training, mentoring in, and the way that you deliver, absolutely, you've got to model the way that you do that, like by living your life by it. Like, and I think, again, coaching and mentoring is definitely a representation, or the way that somebody coaches and mentors is a representation of their values and their ethics. And I mean, like, we're going through them, like, obviously I know the code of conduct anyway, but like, when you look at the code of conduct of coaching and mentoring, and absolutely like ethics and values run straight through it. Like absolutely. And that's the way that like I live my life the way that I coach. Like I absolutely do. And you're the same. Like we live by what we say, what we coach, what we help with, what we mentor, what we train.
We're also human, and we do slip up from now and then, and that's the point of self-awareness, right? That's part of it, is to acknowledge it, and what is it you're going to do, what is it you're going to change. And I think, like, when I see my clients doing that, that's when I'm like, oh, that's all you need in life. All you need is that level of self-awareness. Like, say, when I had that call with somebody going, got this difficult conversation, and I ran away from it, and I don't want to run away from it anymore. Like, I was like, do you just want to take a minute to think how magical it is that you've just identified that is what you've done? Like, that is the biggest piece that actually the majority of people don't do. Like, they're not even self-aware enough. And I think the whole coaching thing is about bringing that level of self-awareness.
Absolutely.
And so if we speak about being a good coach, or, what's important in coaching and being a coach, I think we should also talk about what it means to be a good coachee too.
Wow.
That's really important.
Okay. So my take on this is absolutely openness. Like, you've got openness and the ability to be open-minded to criticism, open-minded to new ideas, honest as the day is long. You've got to be like, the thing is, I'll say be honest to your coach, but it's not even about that, because it's not the coach. It doesn't matter to the coach. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's about you being honest to yourself. Like, you've got to be honest with yourself, with what you are doing or not doing, more importantly, when being coached. Be open-minded to self-awareness, and to be educated and guided through anything that comes up for you while being self-aware, and the ability to, I want to say this how do I say this without making it
it? Just say it how it is in your head right now. Let it out. Speak your truth.
Yeah. So the ability to it's gone. I can't. I'm not. No, it can't. It's not coming out. I'm not meant to say it. It's gone. Oh shit.
All right. So openness, honesty, like absolutely basics, foundations. My next one would be preparedness, and I have got two completely conflicting opinions, which are both true. And I think the word at the moment, especially in the coaching industry, is about the duality. Everybody's talking about the two things that you experience at once all the time. So preparedness. Come to your coaching sessions fucking prepared. Like, don't come up with nothing. Like, don't show up without a thought in your brain and just sit there saying, I don't know. That's my first camp. My second camp is, if you've done nothing and you're not prepared, fucking show up anyway.
Yeah.
So it's the complete opposite of both things. Like, be prepared, like actively go out to be prepared, right? That's your first line of defense, actually. Do that as the first. But if you haven't been able to, and fucking life gets in the way, and career gets in the way, and something gets in the way, and you go, and I've had to have this conversation with so many of my clients, and they've cancelled, and when we get to the crux of it, the next thing, well, I wasn't prepared, and I didn't want to waste the money or the time. Trust me, even if you're not prepared, like, if it's not purposeful, and you genuinely have had stuff that's getting in the way, we'll probably dig so deep into what got in the way that the value of that coaching session will be anyway.
This is where I lie with that. So, like, I am, because of the way that I am as a coachee, I'm not always prepared, and I'm happy. I like that. Like, and I sometimes I prefer not to be prepared. So I have therapy with your mom every month, and Nina, who was on last week's Tower Time, for those other people. I have therapy with, and your mum will sometimes, so Nina will sometimes come to me and she'll be like, what are we doing next week, or what we're doing on next month's call? And I'm like, I don't know. And I am so happy to not know, because every single one of those sessions has been so transformational for me, every one. And I'm very in that area. For me, I'm very happy to be the fly by the seat of your pants coachee, because that works for me. So I sometimes
I'd argue that you're prepared. You've planned for that. You've consciously
strategy.
thought about that, right?
Yes, strategy.
You consciously thought this has worked, and I want. So that in itself, for me, is preparedness.
It's preparation. Yeah.
And there's many a time, like I say, there's many a time where, you know, that's how we have a coaching session as well. Like, I don't, when I say prepare, it doesn't necessarily mean come up with a list of things that you actually you need to dig deep into. It's about knowing how the coaching is going to work for you. If it works like that, fine, like absolutely excellent. But don't just like go, oh, fucking hell, it's 10 minutes and no, I've not even like, oh, and then I'm not going to come because I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to go into this, like, go in knowing.
So it's like energetically and mentally be prepared to be coached. So that's absolutely preparation in that respect. And I always am. And same. So like when I tell my clients, I'm like, because I've had the same as you, like people not turning up, or like making an excuse last minute, or, you know, whatever, because they're like, oh, I don't want to waste the money, or I don't want to get nothing out of it, or I did not come to mastermind calls, or
embarrassed as well. Embarrassed and disappointed. Like, I'm embarrassed that I didn't do what we said I was going to do last time. And so what? Let's find out why.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of that comes down to being a new coachee, so not being coached before, or being new to a mastermind environment or group coaching environment, for example. That can absolutely give you those thought processes of like, oh no, I'm better off turning up when I've got a question or whatever. Because there's been lots of times, and it's only when, like, I've put systems in place now, and I've recorded videos, and obviously I have these conversations very much about, like, at the start of any coaching engagement that I have with anybody, whether it's being a group coaching or a one-to-one setting, I have this disclaimer kind of thing, conversation at the beginning, where I'm saying like, look, if ever there is any time, I am so flexible, and if anything gets in the way, as in an illness, last minute appointment, emergency, so to speak, absolutely, we will rearrange. However, if it's just because you haven't done what I've told you to do, or what we've discussed, you are not mentally, or, you know, whatever, prepared, they're not excuses enough. They're not reasons enough. Like, we need to make sure that you are showing up, because there'll be a reason, like you said, that's you're not mentally prepared. Like, let's dig into it. Let's have a look at what's showing up for you. And every single time that's happened, or again, I've been the coachee, or then I've coached people that have been like that, and they've shown up anyway. They've gone, oh my God, like at the start of the session, I had no idea what we were going to do. And that's just been mind blowing. Like, every time, it always ends up being the most transformational session.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Like, just show up anyway. The message there is like, it doesn't matter how you feel, just show up. Like, you'll get so much just by showing up. There's no shame like that. We're not babysitters as coaches. We're not teachers either. We're not here to say, well, why did you not do that? That's really disappointing. Why have you not done your homework? Like, let's find out what's getting in your way. That's the whole point that you're here.
That's why you've got a coach.
I've had somebody come, well, I've got time management issues. I'm not getting anything that I want to get done. Okay, so you didn't get the thing you didn't get done, so you're not going to show up for your coaching that's going to help you get. It's like, fucking, we've got a cycle here. Let's break it. Let's show up.
I know.
Let's show up.
And that will be on the underlying reason, whether you know it or not, that you've hired a coach in the first place, or that you've wanted a coach for something like that. You think it's something else, but actually the main issue is that, is the fact that you're maybe not prepared or whatever. So no, absolutely. Like, I think that I think you also need to be, that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to say it in a nice way. Because I'm a nice person. I can be a twat sometimes, but I'll be a nice person too.
I was about to say, I've only ever seen you in twat mode, Danielle. What is this nice person you talk about? Where is she? Show me her.
You've got to be willing to be challenged. That's a big one, I think. Yes. So you have got to be willing to be poked, prodded, challenged, told things, open Pandora's box sometimes. Like, these things need to come out. Otherwise, like, what's the point in you being there? Like, let's not fuck about with the surface-based stuff. What's the point? Let's go deep. Like, you've got to be willing to be, and I think we're tied into the openness, but like in a deeper level. Like, you've got to be willing to be challenged. So that there might be some occasions that definitely in my coaching calls, like if you are a client of mine, you will cry at some point for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't cried in any of our coaching sessions, there's something wrong. But that's a good thing. Like, and I'm the same. Like I've cried many times in my coaching therapy sessions, whatever, as a coachee.
I cry a lot as a coach as well, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot.
Yes, absolutely. So you've got to be willing to be poked and to have your Pandora's box opened.
Poked is the word that I use a lot as well, and I'm like, this is going to feel pokey. This is going to feel pointy, and I'll give people the warning, like this is going to be.
You're not going to like this.
You're not going to like this, but it's coming anyway. And actually, that becomes the reason that most people hire me, is because they know they're going to get no bullshit from me. They know it's going to be a bit scratchy and a bit pokey, and it's going to get to where they want to get to. And I've had clients, where I've like declined renewing an engagement unless they got therapy at the same time, because I'm like, we've poked really hard, and actually there's no more poking. There's no more coachy poking. It needs to get to another level of poking now. But we've got to the bottom of that's what's the issue, and we'll do it, but it's got to be side by side, things like that. So I think, and you know what? I'm just looking at the time now. We've been on nearly an hour, and before we wrap up, I'm extremely surprised and I'm impressed at the level of seriousness and professionalism that we've brought today. Some really fucking deep and juicy topics. We can do it. But with that in mind, I think we should end on some form of a light note. So I'm racking my brain of what that light note is going to be. And I think, I don't know, let's explore some of our favorite times working, the funniest times, favorite times, things we've enjoyed the most about working together. Maybe something like that. We will end on a light, fun note like that.
Okay. So it's really hard because this could go into a different one, another one to be fair, but like we've blurred lines, haven't we? So like we've blurred lines in all areas of blurringness. So just to give you a bit of context to that. So I'm Tara's coach. I'm also her mum's coach. Her mum's my therapist. I coached her husband. Her stepdad is my accountant. We're all so friends. We go out and drink together. When she's in the UK, I dine at her mum's and stepdad's house probably most months, like in fact every month in a networking capacity, but also as friends, like and Dave as well. So we're all very blurred. One of my favorite moments.
Oh, it's going to be a bad one, I think, isn't it? This.
When we went out together, me, you, and your mum, and we went out for cocktails. We went to a nice posh establishment village that was shit as fuck. That we had to get a cab back. We were waiting on the bench, and Tara were like, "I need to go to Greg's for a sausage roll." So she went fucking marching to Greg's for sausage roll. Come back, and I've got a video of you like walking back to the bench, waiting for the taxi. And the sausage rolls. Like that day will brill for me. Like, and it really, I did a reel about it, didn't I? About blurring lines. Like, I absolutely do believe that you can. Your coaching business, your business full stop, can be whatever you want it to be. Working in an official capacity, professional-ish capacity, is the text message that I got from you not long ago, WhatsApp that I got from you not long ago, actually, back end of last year, and you said, I absolutely love the way that our coaching relationship has changed and how we lead each other now, and the way that we are, like, our conversations, our coaching, our sessions, every time we chat, WhatsApp, we do a lot of lives or some, presentation of some kind now as well. Like, it is we're so just gelled. We gel really well. We're very aligned. So yeah, I think that moment for me, I was like, yeah, do you know what? You are right in that. And I have learned probably equally as much as what you've learned from me, I've learned from you in our time together over the last 18 months. So thank you.
And I think that is like that coaching relationships that can evolve like that are absolutely like when I first started, it was like, how can I do this? What the fuck should I write in a Facebook group? And it was like, here, Tara, write the list of shit to go, off you go, Duracell bunny. Like, let's go, let's listen. And that's what I needed at that point to get me going. But the conversations that we have now are extreme. And then actually this where it comes, we talk about preparedness as well.
Yeah.
That's where it was very, very, very different. I would prepare for those because I know I'd need to leave with a list of things that I needed to action.
Yes.
So I needed to think about what I needed to ask you to move forward. Now it's not like that. Now it's like, what conversation are we going to have that's going to elevate my next product or service or conversation or live or leadership or whatever it is to the next level? And like, I think you laugh about the aligned thing, but we've had some spooks recently, haven't we? Like some really, really weird things, whether it might be name of programs or freebies that we're developing, like where I come onto my coaching call and talk about that, and then like picks up a piece of paper and is like, this is what I wrote earlier today, and it's
already got like 100 notes on it.
And I wonder, like, sometimes I wonder, I never worry because I don't give a shit, but I wonder, like, do people just think one or either way, oh, she's just done that because she did it, or she's just done that because she did it? And I'm like, I wonder if they think it. I don't worry.
I don't like. I wonder. Yeah, same. I would wonder as well. But like, I don't give a shit neither because we're all very like. Even though we are aligned, we're very alike in a lot of ways. And I always say that it's because we're both Aries, and like we've got a similar sort of attitude to life, and also bulls in china shops. That's kind of how we are. Like we just do. We take life by the fucking horns and we go for it. But yeah, even down to this week, like you had homemade pizza night, the fucking same. And these are not, honest to God, girls, like anybody that's watching, like these are not, we've not had these things that have been like, oh my God, that is so aligned. There's absolutely zero pre-conversation of that. So it's not like we've had a discussion last week about doing pizza night soon, and then all of a sudden we had it on the same night. Like no conversation's been had, or the development of the freebie that's coming for both of us. It's very, very similar. Is literally like we've had zero conversation. Like Tara said, our conversations in our coaching sessions now are very different to.
They're very industry focused, aren't they? It's like what's going on around us, who are we looking at, who are we learning from, what's going on, like
and evolution of us and our brand rather than evolution of us and our brand rather than the like, because Tara knows how to do all of the ins and outs of the business now. Like she's doing it and then teaching it and training it and coaching it. So it's not about those things anymore. So we don't talk about those little things, from time to time. But then like she literally said like, oh, I've just let you know this, boom. And then I was like, oh yeah, like I've already created. Very, very fucking spooky.
We literally spend the same week creating the same thing in parallel or similar thing in parallel.
With no pre-conversation about it. So it's the way that we are just very, very in tune. We get on as people, as friends, as obviously coach and coachee, as leader and leader, like we in the industry. So we just absolutely gel in all areas. Like we could literally sit and chat all day. There's no.
And I have to say, the story of the sausage roll is a lot. I thought it was going to be something worse, based on that day and based on the conversation we'd had that day. And I'm going to say I'm relieved that it was not, and I'm going to let you think.
My perimenopause mind has it gone? Is this something worse than that?
Than me walking down the road with the sausage roll? Well, I'm going to leave that to your imagination to think about.
I'm going to go back for my video, see if I can spark my memory.
And I think it was best you didn't share it because I probably would have had to cut it out. But let's say it came from a game of Never Would I Ever. One thing you shouldn't do is play Never Would I Ever with your coach when you go out drinking.
When you've had about 12 apparel spritzers or pina coladas, or like, what else were we on that day? Like all sorts of stuff. Here we were. It was a good day. It was a good day. And I like you coming back to the UK for a bit. I can't wait to squid you again.
And again, oh, actually, it could have been the conversation that we had this week about, I actually said this at the beginning of the call, the level of value the level of value and service that you offer your clients. And I said, you've really taken it to a next level with a conversation we had this week. And I said, when I come back to the UK, I'm going to come and I'm going to use your laser hair removal to get rid of my mustache as well. It's the next level of service, Danielle. I'm going to come for my in-person coaching and I'm going to laser my mustache at the same time. Is that okay? Of course it's okay.
Absolutely. Above and beyond, or like literally, like I go above and beyond for my clients. If you need for my laser hair removal machine, you absolutely can. So like,
shall I write that in a testimonial? She really does go above and beyond.
Got my tash done, got my flu done, got my
it's a holistic all-in-one service. Just think about it from a marketing perspective. We're always talking about alternative ways, new ways of innovating, bringing things together.
It actually happened. Like, to be fair, I sent her the link to the thing. I was like, because we both have laser hair removal. Obviously, we go elsewhere for it to the real people that do it, to the proper people. We'd probably end up with like laser scars or something if we did this. I mean, doing this myself. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll see. Properly. Anyway, and I said, well, this link, I said, I know you're into this. Like, yeah, have a look at this. And she was like, no, mate, I'm coming to the UK for 5 months. So I'll just use it. I'll just go around and use yours. I'm like, okay.
I'm a digital nomad. I can't possibly be carrying another thing around. There's not that space in my suitcase.
I fucking love it. So yeah, so we talk about all sorts, real valuable stuff.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent way. That was it. Bring a little bit of us right to the end. We can be serious. We've proven ourselves. Absolutely. We can be very serious and talk about very important things.
Babe, we've got amazingly successful businesses. We've got to be serious at some point. Like we can be knobs, absolutely. Like you can be a knob and run a successful business. You can be stupid and run a successful business, but you've got to have some sort of serious element in there at some point to change people's lives, aren't you? So
maybe I think that we should, when I post this on YouTube afterwards, maybe that could be the title of it. You can be a knob and have a successful business.
Absolutely. Well, I think mine, I put it on, I put a post on last week, didn't I, about like the time I told you the truth. And I was like, I can be an utter bitch. Like, you can be a bitch and run a successful business. You can be a shit coach and run a successful coaching business, Because sometimes I am shit.
We're all human. We're all human at the end of the day. And I'm currently inside a course which is about how to show up as a good client, which is so interesting, and how that it's just a really, really interesting thing about how that can improve you as a coach as well. Yeah. But it talks all about how we're putting people on pedestal, we're putting coaches on pedestals all the time, and we're just human beings at the end of the day. We're just human beings like everybody else. We've just honed a skill, but we're still a human being.
Yeah, we've just experienced a few more things than in that area than another person. So like for me, I've experienced a few more things in business than my clients, which is why they learn from me. Like and this is good. I think just quickly going back to, we touched upon this earlier on about looking at somebody and thinking, I can do that. Like if they can do it, I can do it. Like, and that's all I want. That's like my mission, my vision is to just show everybody else that if fucking I can do it, for God's sake. Like little old me from Donny, got a potty mouth, like gets things wrong all the time, can be a right bitch. Like if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's the gap that I want to close for people. Since I started business full stop, like if I can put my mind to things and do things and achieve things and be successful and get what I want to get, anybody with the right support. That's like right. What I want.
Then that's a beautiful segue. What a beautiful segue. If people want to get in touch with you and find out more about working with you or what you've got going on at the moment, what's the best way for them to do that?
Literally, like I pride myself in giving still to stay. So I talked about earlier giving, the first 6 months I give all my coaching calls away for free, and everything that I did for free. But I still deliver lots of free stuff at the minute. So go onto any of my profiles on anywhere, Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook. I've got a group called Next Level Women. Next Level Woman, sorry. So if you want to come into there, that's all free. Trainings, lives. My links are everywhere. My website is www.daniellehobson.co.uk. Everything is on there. But just DM me. I'm very personable. I'm very approachable. You can just come into my DMs and we'll have a chat, and we can jump on a free call to start with if that's what you want to do. And let's get to the nitty-gritty of what you need.
Fantastic. And while we're at it, I would be doing a disservice if I do not talk about my upcoming. So I was like, oh my gosh, less than 2 weeks now. In 2 weeks, we are starting cohort 2 of my Propel Leadership Accelerator. So it's a 12-week group program and is specifically for women who are in their careers and they're either wanting to take a step up to the next level and feel confident as fuck doing that, or maybe they've already just stepped up and they're wanting to really show up as their best self and feel confident and courageous and do all of the things that the leader that they want to be does. And like I say, it's a 12-week program of everything that I put together in my leadership career in the construction industry, that I think are the core pillars to help you get there. And we train and we do personalized coaching, and you have a group of amazing women. So if that sounds something that you're interested in and you're ready to fast track, because that's the purpose of it, drop me a DM with the word Propel, or you can also head straight to the link. Like Danielle said, on my profile, any of my profile links, the links are all there, and Propel should be right at the top for you to find. But if you've got questions and you want to jump on a call to talk about it, to see if it's the right fit for you, drop me a DM.
Amazing.
The replay of this, obviously, if anybody who's been watching, let us know. I should have said that at the beginning, completely forgot. Let us know if you were watching on the replay and you were here. Lovely to see people here live as well. Carly and Louise, hello. Obviously, I don't know if you can see the comments up here, Danielle. Can you or not?
I hadn't done until about 5 minutes ago. I over from private chat to comments. I'm like, oh, there's people there.
Yeah. So hello, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And this is going to be going. So every week, this happens on I'm still trying it out a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, personal Facebook profile, and now I'm putting it on my YouTube, and that's where you'll be able to find all of the replays really easily on a playlist. Like all of the replays of Tara Time are going to be there on YouTube. YouTube again is just Tara Brevitt. Like I've made it super easy. You can find me across all platforms with just Tara Brevitt. But last week's episode with my mum, which was equally as hilarious as today's, is up there, and there's going to be one of these every single week. So go over there, like it, subscribe it, so that you don't ever miss an episode. And I will see you next week with another wonderful guest.
Excited. Thank you for having me.
Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.